All right, guys. Today we're playing Widowmaker. Not Black Widow that I've called her in the past, but hey, it's Widowmaker, you know? Fun times.
Are you gonna mess that up this time?
Am I gonna mess what up?
This go around?
I'm not gonna talk about her. Don't say things.
You're not gonna talk about her at
I'm
all?
not gonna talk about her. She's not here. Anyway, so guys, you know why you're here. Pros and cons. Let's talk about pros and cons, talk about what makes her good, talk about, you know, how you should play on her team. And this is all my opinion, so don't listen to it if you don't care. It's fine. Do your own thing. Ultimately, this game is designed for you to play how you want to play. And I want you to have fun. I want you to have the most fun. But this is where you get information from. So, let's talk about her pros and cons first. Get fucked, Pharaoh. So, her single target damage is insanely good. And from a distance, it's very hard for anybody to kind of keep up with her as far as that type of damage. So you can safely shoot people from a distance without having to worry about being screwed over, because you can easily zip around and you've got ways to cover your butt. You've got ways to get up places like that and get away from targets. And it only takes a couple seconds for your sniper rifle to charge up to full damage, and full damage can easily one-shot a lot of characters, especially if you get a headshot. If you get a headshot, you can one-shot damn near half the cast. So, her burst damage, or single target burst damage is really good. And you don't have to wait for the sniper to charge up fully. You can just sit there and keep fucking pulling it. Still does a lot of damage, as long as your shots are on point. But I usually try to let my, sometimes I panic when I shoot. Because like I shoot a guy and I'm like, shit. And I like try to shoot him and it ends up not working well. So I'll just end up popping off shots because like I'm like, if I can just hit him like one more time, he'll die.
Yeah.
So, like I said, her range also is incredibly good, so she can deal a lot of high damage from a distance, which is good. Makes her a really good person to harass people without them really knowing where you are. Her ultimate ability is insanely good too. It works for the whole entire team. We'll get more in depth with the ultimates later on, but pretty much it brings up an infrared sight, and you can see people through walls, so you know when they're coming, and you can line up shots. Your teammates know when they're coming, so they can kind of figure out like where people are going to be, and also it shows an exact silhouette of them, so you know exactly what character is coming through, as long as you are kind of aware or familiar with what the characters look like. So for people that play the game quite often, I mean, it'll be easy for you to spot like who's coming after you through the walls. She also has incredible mobility, like I was saying before, with her grappling hook. She can get in and out of places insanely quick because that grappling hook has a lot of distance, more than you think sometimes, and it almost auto targets things. This diva was pissing me off in this game.
Rich.
I was so mad. She kept messing with me the whole entire game because like divas can fly up to you and become a real issue. But again, we'll get into in matchups later. But anyway, also apart from her sniping, her actual auto rifle, which is just a fully automatic rifle, is really good actually at being able to take out targets. I find myself a lot of times just spraying and praying and hoping that my shots will get onto somebody, because it's a really good gun from up close and a distance. Like it makes her a really hard target to deal with. I mean, her health is kind of low, but it's still 200 is not the lowest in the game, so you're still above a lot of things, and you've also got a lot of stuff that covers you and being able to get to health packs really easily, like with the zip line. Some of her cons that she's got, she doesn't really have much utility to help out the team other than her ultimate ability. So she's kind of like a lone wolf in a sense, where you're out there sniping things and picking off people. You have this like the spider grenade right there, or venom grenade, that is able to hold kind of. You can shoot that into teams or into like points to kind of help out, but it really doesn't do anything for the team.
What does
really,
it do?
It really just helps out yourself. Well, Jess, I'm glad you asked that, but we'll get into that. We'll get into that in the ability section.
Well, I want to know now.
Well, I don't want to tell you now. Also, she is very easy at being able to pick off heroes, and if they're not really aware of what's like I miss a lot of shots, granted, okay, but if I'm not hitting them, a lot of times people don't pay attention to where you are, because when you get hit, obviously it shows you in the direction you got hit from. But if you're not paying attention, and like if I got a spot like this, and I'm just popping out pegging people, a lot of times people won't even mess with me, won't even shoot at me, nothing like that. So I can just sit there all day and mess with people. She's not very good also on all the maps. There are some maps where she's just not a good pick because she requires a lot of open space. And if a map has a lot of like close encounters where there's not a lot of good lanes to shoot at or good areas to shoot into, like this one, she just isn't as viable as some of the other characters that have much higher damage, like Soldier 76, for example. that is good in the mid range and close game, instead of having to be long range. You know what I mean? So that's another thing that it just is not very good with her. She also is not at all good at holding a control point and waiting for your team to kind of come help. She's relatively squishy with being at 200 health.
Oh, you got her in that outfit.
I love that outfit.
It looks like a bird maid costume.
It's great. It's a white bird, the bird of
half
prey.
maid costume.
No. Maids are sexy.
That's the thing.
And also, if your aim is bad, you're not really going to help out your team. My aim isn't the greatest, but I can consistently hit body shots for the most part, and at least help my team out if they happen to be, like right there, Reinhardt holding up his shield. I'm pegging people through it as much as I possibly can to make sure that, he's not wasting his time just sitting there and getting pelted on a shield. So let's go over some of her abilities. So she's got the Widow's Kiss is what it's called, her rifle actually, and that assault rifle has got 30 bullets in the magazine, and when you shoot them just the auto rifle by itself, it'll shoot out 30 bullet by bullet. But when you do the sniper shots, it'll take 3 from each. It'll take 3 bullets per shot, so you have 10 sniper shots or 30 bullets normally.
Okay.
So that's the way that works. Now the auto rifle is really good at being able to like I said, take down targets where they're really close to you in case like somebody pushes you, or kind of another Widow comes up to you or something like that. Those are always fun matchups too, by the way, having Widow against Widow, because it's always about who can find the other person first. Because like most of the time, Widowmakers are really good about finding spots to
sneaky.
be sneaky. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's try to get away from me. I'm like, yeah. So her sniper also as well does 150 damage if you charge up the shot entirely. Like if you let the bar get up to 100%, it'll do 150 damage. And that 150 damage is not counting headshots. So if you get a headshot with that thing, it's 300 damage, which is crazy. It's insane how much boom! That's why you don't camp spots in spawn. Don't be an asshole. Also, the assault rifle's got 10 rounds per second with a fire rate, and they do 13 damage if you can per bullet, I believe. So, I mean, it's not terrible damage. And also, the sniper shots is 1 shot per second, so you got to kind of gauge that kind of thing. The reload with her stuff, by the way, too, is really quick, so you can kind of just get in and out with the with being able to reload your gun and not have to worry about much of any issues if somebody's like pressing you hard, I guess. And we'll get into that later too. She's amazing against Bastion. He's terrible against her. All right, so let's talk about her grappling hook. So her grappling hook allows her to pull up to any kind of like solid surface. It doesn't allow her to pull herself onto walls. It's got to kind of be like a flat ledge where when you pull yourself up onto it, you can hop over and get onto the flat surface. And it's really, really important. And I'm glad this clip's coming up because it'll showcase how powerful it is to be able to do this kind of stuff. The grappling hook will go a lot farther than you think, and you're about to see it. There's a little back part to this map, so I forgot about the Reaper coming by. But anyway, so the grappling hook can reach a lot further than you can think, and it'll attach to the surfaces, and you'll pop up, and it's a really good mobility tool. The cooldown is not terrible. It's only 12 seconds, so it really doesn't... by the time you're up there and you're set back up and you're sniping people, I mean, a couple shots down range, and your cooldown's already done. You're good to go, and you can grapple somewhere else. And also the Venom Mine. The Venom Mine is one of the things that is key to her gameplay because it allows her to cover her butt on a lot of times that you wouldn't normally be able to do. And grab the hook.
Look at you.
I love that. It's a well-known spot to do that with characters that are able to do that. But if you can catch a team off guard and you're the only one doing it, you can really kind of mess up the other team with. And I freaked out here for a minute. I was trying to find a door that was behind me, and there was a wall. I'm such an idiot. So the Venom Mine is a mine that you can shoot out of your hand, and it's sticky to any surface that you shoot it onto. So if you shoot it onto a wall, it's going to stick to the wall. Shoot it on the floor, it's going to stick to the floor. Ceiling, same thing. So it makes it where you can hide it, in a sense, in certain parts. And when anything gets in proximity of the mine, it blows up. And it'll show it on your screen. It'll say triggered right there. See that? It'll show red, and it'll say triggered. And when it says triggered, it deals damage, 15 damage per second to a max total of 75 to every target that was affected in that mine. So if somebody runs over, it triggers it. It like goes, psst, and you can actually hear it if you listen hard enough, and it'll cover them in kind of like a purple mist, and then it deals that damage. That damage really adds up, especially if you catch people that are trying to like retreat, or you catch people that are low health, and you sitting there and they run into your mine, then you snipe them one time, or you unload on them with your auto rifle. It can add up super quick, and the cooldown on it's not great, because if you could spam that ability, it would be kind of overpowered.
Yeah.
Because you could just spam. Because there's plenty of times where I'll see somebody on a point, and I'll just shoot it in the middle of the point.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if they destroy it. So what? I get another one back in 15 seconds, and it ain't that big a deal. All right, so let's talk about our ultimate ability. Now, with being Widowmaker, it's not very easy to get her super quickly. You have to hit your shots. There's not like any abilities that kind of charge it up, like the healing abilities that charge it up. You have to be a good player in order for it to charge up at a rate that's decent to be able to help out your team. Now, once you do get it up, the infrared sight, like I said, she just clicks it, like on her face, and her helmet comes down, and the infrared sight shows to everybody that's on your team. I know before, whenever we talked about this, you were like, oh, it goes for everybody on the team. And I was like, yeah, everybody on the team can see these people. So it's invaluable and should not be wasted at all whenever you're actually looking to use this ability. I sometimes waste it because I'm not in a group. I'm solo queuing, so I'm not in a group of people to be able to coordinate it. So I'll usually do it if they're trying to push a point, and I want my team to know kind of where they're coming from so they can prepare. So that was kind of one thing why I usually use it as soon as I get it, but I'll hold on to it sometimes if nothing's going on, like if I died and just coming back from the spawn or something like that.
I used to think that was Soldier's ultimate because of his visor thing.
Well, his visor comes down, but it auto targets. But it does. The visor comes down and it tracks.
Yeah.
That's what it does.
But I always thought that her thing. Was what his
it
was,
makes sense.
Yeah,
it makes total sense. Like I said, her ultimate ability can mean winning and losing games, because again, it's essentially cheating, seeing through walls. Like, it's so good. Now, some of the matchups for her are not going to be. There's quite a lot of bad matchups as far as with the cast now diverse it is, but some of the matchups can be in your favor or not as bad as they should be if you keep your cooldowns, like your grappling hook, and make sure that you have a good escape plan. Like, always make sure where you're at doesn't limit you to where you can go, essentially, because you want to make sure you have a good map awareness, because you're going to be aimed down sight all the time, so you're not going to know what the hell's coming up behind you or to your sides, because this really tunnel visions your view for the most part, other than whenever you're zoomed out. So it makes it so you really have to pay attention to what's around you, and if you have headphones, you really can use those to your advantage, because headphones make a world of difference with her, so she can make sure there's nobody coming up behind her. So her best attribute is the fact that she can use the grappling hook to get up to places that other characters usually can't. So any character that has an ability that can teleport somewhere or climb walls or anything like that is always going to be kind of an iffy matchup. So first, let's talk about Reaper. Reaper, obviously, he can teleport, does a lot of high damage up close. So if he can catch you off guard with his teleport, like if he sees you if I'm up here sniping, which, I mean, anybody can get up here, but if I'm up here sniping and I'm down scope looking, Reaper can teleport behind me, and unless I'm listening for that cue of death comes, I'm not going to know.
Yeah.
And then he can just shoot me twice, and I'm dead. I mean, it's so easy for him to do that. Also, Soldier 76 is going to be hard because he can heal himself. And for the most part, if they burst fire as a soldier to you, they can make it an issue for you where you can't just stay in scope and aim down sight at him. But the healing is the main thing. It's an issue. It's not like a terrible matchup, but it's a matchup that you really need to kind of be aware of what they can do. Kind of know if they're healing and you're not in a good position, you might as well just back up and just let it go and just kind of move on. Pharaoh's also going to be extremely hard because, for one, she can fly, so she can get up to wherever the hell you are. And two, she does a hell of a lot of damage. So your 200 health can go away extremely quick. You just see randomly how sometimes where I'll just be getting shot at and I'll grapple and I'm out of danger totally. So it's such a good tool. Next will be Tracer. Tracer's going to be kind of hard for you when she gets to you, she's hard. If she cannot get to you, which if you're up on a place that only is grappling hook or teleport accessible or wall climb accessible, she won't be able to get to you flat out. But the moment she gets around you, it is a extremely hard matchup. If you're good with the assault rifle portion of the gun, then it can be a lot easier. But for the most part, she's going to be kind of difficult. So be on the lookout for tracers for the most part. I personally think divas are annoying as hell too because they can get to where you are by flying around, and they also have 2 lives essentially.
Yeah.
And she can block all your damage. She can block your mine if you happen to shoot at her. Just tons of things that are an issue. But Genji is also a big issue because of his wall climb and his deflectability too. So when he gets up close, he can deflect everything you're doing. And I believe, I'm not 100% sure on this, but I believe he can deflect your mine, and then when it becomes deflected, it becomes his.
What?
I'm not entirely sure. I know for a fact that if you, as Genji, you can deflect Hanzo's ultimate, and if you deflect it quick enough, the dragons will become yours.
What the poop?
Yeah, his Genji's insane. That's why they had to nerf him. He was too good. It was like Genji and then all the cast. Like Genji was in a tier by himself. As long as you were good with him, like the higher level tier people. I wasn't. I sure as hell wasn't. Winston, he's also a bad matchup because of his leap. He can leap up to where you are, and it doesn't really matter in what position. His leap is stupidly good. But again, any character that's going to be able to get up into the front of you, and right here, I'll show this to you real quick. She shot her ultimate. I used my grappling hook to push her so that she couldn't do any more damage to my team while my team was in that super. So the grappling hook can be used offensive as well as defensive. So keep that in mind, guys. Roadhog's also going to be really hard against you, mainly because if he's good with his grappling hook, he can be a serious problem. And I know just in playing a lot of characters and playing against a lot of Roadhogs, that hook got buffed. So if they're even moderately good with it, it can become a real issue because most of the time when you're playing Widowmaker, I almost got a Black Widow. When you're playing Widowmaker, you're going to be standing still sniping. You're not going to be moving around a bunch because if you're using your left stick to move around or on keyboard or whatever, your shots are not going to be accurate as they would if you were just standing still and just using the right stick or the mouse. McCree's also going to be kind of difficult too as well because of his poke range. His poke range got nerfed, so for the most part, you're not going to be as bad with him. But if he stuns you, you're dead. It's almost impossible for you to come back from a stun if they're decent. Now, if he misses all his shots, well, of course, grapple away or just gun him down with his assault rifle because he won't have his stun that quickly back. But again, his fan the hammer can really do a lot of damage to you, so be aware of that. But for the most part, like I said, if you can not fight against teams that have characters that can teleport to you, or you don't make enough issue, he almost killed me there. He murdered me. Also, Venom Mine, if you have it up right here, if you notice, I set this up defensively. So if he wanted to chase after me, he's going to take some of that damage, and it may deter him from coming after me. And the big thing with her, I think, is really knowing where the health packs are too. But that's with any character for the most part. But I think especially with her because if you ever start to take damage that's in a significant manner, you have the ability with the grappling hook to be able to get to it quickly. So you need to be thinking of it all the time while you're where you are. Like right there where she went in. I know there's a health pack there. I know there's a health pack down below. I know there's a health pack behind me. I know there's a health pack outside to the right.
Yeah.
Like I know where all that stuff is. But anyway, guys, if you like this, be sure to let us know. And if you find out any good information, then I'm glad we helped you. But we'll see you next time, guys.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.